G'day team, today we're checking out TSM versus Sentinels on Fracture, and this was a really cool map for a number of different reasons. Firstly, we had 10 different agents, so already we're seeing the impact of the post-chamber meta. Not only is it 10 different agents, but it's also how rounds are playing out differently. There's a key round that highlights that in this game. TenZ also has a massive game on Kayo, getting 25 assists on this map, proving that he's not a one-trick jet op. There's also a massive round where 6 ultimates get dumped and this crazy retake from Sentinels happens with a perfectly min-maxed clutch from Def. And to finish off, we get a funny moment with Zekin getting a knife kill, which actually is an optimal play and not a troll or a disrespectful knife in any means, which is the first time I've seen that kind of thing in a pro match. Okay, so first thing that we're going to look at here is Sentinels on the attacking half. They're going to go towards A, and we're going to get into this mid round and look at how the lack of chamber actually changes the way this whole round plays out. So as you can see, there's some early smokes and the boombot comes out for info. The knife comes out in return from TenZ and detects Corey, so he has to fall off. And they get Zekin into this doors position, ready for the push out. Accidentally gets flashed as he opens up the door too early, but it's all good there from SEN. And they're going to get into this A main position and they're just going to chill. You see, they spam through the door. And look at this positioning from Def. He gets himself all the way through to Sands with this cage, gets himself into this box and starts watching the drop at rope. So what has TSM done? Well, they've got this smoke here and they've got this haunt that comes out and scans nobody. TSM currently don't have any vision. Corey's on top site looking into the little wall and playing a tucked position. These two guys up here are smoked off. Hazed is in spawn and he's actually worried about them coming up a ropes because they have no vision of sand either. But this is the really big impact of the chamber nerfs. 7 playing in tower on B, playing in the correct position for a killjoy, playing with his mollies to protect him. He's got info with his turret. This is a really good turret, actually watches both of the entrances. If 7 was on a chamber here, chamber would be like all the way out here watching this, and they would have all of this forward info. Because TSM don't actually have any info and Sentinels cut noise, look at the rotates that come in. Look at them. They're already gone. The smokes pop. There's only Corey left alone on site and they get in for free. They clean up Corey without Corey being able to get any kills. Great knife there from TenZ as well to stop any stalling util from Corey, and it's a lost hope here for TSM. The util comes out to defend this spike hold and you can see TSM just in this really tough position. They double group up at both of these entrances. Sentinels have all of the site space, all of main and sands as well. They've got Trip here to protect them. But what do you do here as TSM? You have no duelist to burst into site. You only have Fade as your initiator, so you don't have any flashes to take aggressive fights. And Sentinels just clean this up really easily. No burst, no flashes, no way to take space really here for TSM. Great round from Sentinels. But the real MVP here for Sentinels is the chamber nerfs, because if chamber's sitting all the way out here and watching this angle, Sentinels can't rotate out. They can't slow contact through B main. And then as soon as chamber sees them, they're able to rotate over to the B site in a much more synchronized fashion with Sentinels rotate. But because they don't have any of this forward info, and they're all smoked off and Sentinels cut noise, they have to be worried about them changing the site hit. No chamber also means a bunch of shifts in the meta and player meta as well. We get to see TenZ on the KO in this match. Working with Zekin on the Neon, TenZ has a great game. He gets 25 assists, showing that he can do it all. One of the big questions, of course, coming into 2023 was, is TenZ still as good as he once was? Can he return to his prime? Corey getting a nice opening pick there on Pancata. And with that, Sentinel speed towards B. Zekin walls up, pops his ult, gets onto site, past the Killjoy util as Neon is so good at doing. And then because of all of this util, he decides to just stall for a moment. He wants to, try and wait for the spacing of the team to come through so that they can fight together. He doesn't want to over-aggress, but this Viper Orb stalls them for so long as well. And he's in a little bit of a dangerous position here as the rotates, he's expecting the rotates are probably already here. So he does decide to slowly move into tower without creating too much noise or pressure. Pulls out his gun as well, ready for this fight. And now he's just holding this space. Again, doesn't over-aggress. And just holds this space, waits for his team to come in. And because of that, TenZ is able to hit this really nasty flick onto Hayes and then just goes and does this. Gets 2 and then 7 actually doesn't get baited by the TenZ fight and is still holding this ropes area when Zekken peeks out. So really nice play from 7 to be able to have awareness of this angle. And Zekken, you know, peeked at the right time looking to fight with TenZ, but 7 just gets the better of him in that situation. But now we have a really nice fight from Sentinels again. 7 gets put in the exact same fight, the same position, right? So previously this was TenZ, and up in tower is now Sassy instead of Zekken. And Def just baits this fight. 7 falls for it this time, and then Sassy gets the kill. Really, really nice play. And then Corey gets himself into arcade, wants to put himself in this fight again, thinks better of it. Def has jumped away down to main, and Sassy with the ult, pops the ult in the 2v1. Never be scared to pop your ult to secure a round. Cleans him up with ease. Especially because Sassy and Def there were completely separated. So Corey was potentially able to find 2 1v1s and win both of those fights. Corey, really nice round there from Sentinels, playing really well off of each other and baiting each other's positioning for fights. And TenZ just so good, man. He hasn't missed a step, it looks like. Okay, so now we come into a really cool round. We've got 7 ults on the board and 6 of them are going to be used. So TSM going to use all of their 3. TenZ doesn't end up using his null command, but we get the other 3 from Sentinels. And because there's so many ults on the board, both of these teams are playing quite a spread default. They just want to get the information so they can maximize their ult usage. So Sentinels has a very spread defensive position. We got trips on both sides of A just to catch any info. And we've got 2 players playing towards the mid side of A. Zekken's playing forward for this early A main contact and no one actually on A. And on the weak side, you have Pancada playing deep as that anchor. TenZ setting up towards mid so that he can fast rotate as well. They're really just wanting to make most of these ults as a team. Same thing here for TSM. They're spread out. They're looking for some early info here. They're coming through 3 different lanes for the start of this round. And then they're going to group up and use their ults as well. You see, because there's so many ults, everyone's just going to take it a little bit slow. Hayes ends up coming back over towards A main, and then Sassy comes over towards B as well. We get some info here. Knife out from TenZ. The Prowler through Dish. We got the cam there for Def, just watching for that info. They are going to spot that camera. But GMD doesn't actually register that it's there. And they're worried about the flanks. So they're just going nice and slow. Then the first ult comes out. They're going to hit this A site. They haven't heard much resistance. The Viper ult comes out as well as the Astra ult. And TSM get themselves into a great position here. Viper ult on site taking up so much space. They have all of Dish control and they have main control, you know, half of main at least to an extent. But Sentinels are ready for this. They have a plan of how they're going to deal with this Viper's ult. They're going to pass through main and then onto sites. They're going to retake through main here. You see, they group up. 4 of them have regrouped all together. They're going to take Sands with the free space that they get from the Astral Wall. And then Sassy's ready. Off of this KO knife, Sassy comes in with the Breach ult, which just allows them to take A main completely from free. Zekken comes in with his Neon ult and gets the free kill first, stuns into the back of site along with the Brim ult and sends it through. So that's 3 ults now for both teams. Zekken comes up the stairs. Really good positioning from TSM to play around all of those ults. But the aftershock comes in and they clear out Hazed through the smoke. And Corey can't get enough kills there. Gets picked off by TenZ with the Sheriff. But then Def, I want to show you this positioning. So Def gets himself as close to this wall as possible. So he knows where GMD is, right? GMD's only pathing is to come around this side of the spike. So Def is actually tucked back as far as he can, gets onto the spike as quickly and as closely to this wall as possible. And watch where he swings. So he gets half, swings out, and look where he's standing. He's still standing in spike range. We're still in the death animation for GMD, and Def is still on the spike. Because he started defusing here and swung here, he can start defusing the second half immediately, and does so with 0.28 seconds to spare. An amazing, 0.29 rather, an amazing clutch from Def. The positioning is just perfect. Look at the way, let's get a replay of this. You can see he holds that. He just gets caught by GMD as he crosses. GMD forced to take this fight. Def ready for that swing. Look at GMD's crosshair here. He's swinging. He's expecting Def just to be sticking this. He thinks that's the only option that Def has. So he's coming around ready to swing this position, and Def catches him off guard. He tries to flick back, but before his crosshair hardly even moves, Def has already killed him. Very nice clutch from Def. I can't emphasize how tightly that was min-maxed. High IQ player Def is. That's why he's the IGL. Very, very nice. Let's come into the final round of the match. Sentinels actually on an eco. They have one gun here. So they stack towards 4 with that gun. And Def's going to get picked off early. They try and fight with Def on that gun, but he gets picked off. Sassy then picks it up. And in this, the reason that I want to show this round is because Zekken actually goes crazy. Gets a knife kill, which is unironically the best play that he could have made. So then Sassy, he's got the gun on site trying to defend an anchor. They get the flash out. Zekken uses all of his ammo from the sheriff and then runs forward, swinging, left clicking with the knife. That is the first kind of knife kill I have seen personally in a pro match. It might have happened before, but for it to unironically be the optimal play, you see he's out of bullets. If he tried to reload here, he wouldn't win this fight. Potentially, he should try and stun here, but even that potentially takes too long. And Haste has just the classic in hand. So Zekken runs at him, somehow survives and gets the kill with like 2 HP left. Very, very funny round. And what a great game here. Nice to see the Sentinels back in action. I wonder what they'll look like with 2 weeks of practice.